Hello good people of YouTube and welcome to my hobby channel. Yesterday when the mail coach came into town, some good news arrived with it. Hopefully you can see this. The wonderful people at Great Escape Games were very kind to send me a couple of free sprues for me to review on my channel. So here are the three sprues. We've got the bases and the horses and the female mounted gunfighters. Now I've reviewed this horse sprue in the previous video that I did when Great Escape Games were very kind enough to send me a sample of the mounted gunfighters, the male gunfighters. And I don't really want to repeat myself, but obviously if you've not seen that video, then this sprue may be new to you. So I'm just going to run over a few things that came to light when I reviewed this sprue in the previous video. Right. The first thing that's worth noting is the fact that the horse halves are lettered. So we've got two here that are lettered A, and then two halves here that have the letter B next to them, and then C, and so on all the way down to E, which does indicate that these horse halves are not interchangeable. And I did have a wonder whether or not I could mix and match the different sides of the horses, and the short answer is no. The long answer is yes, if you don't mind doing a little bit of cutting and carving away with a craft knife. Theoretically, you could probably get about 25 different horses just with head swaps alone. So that is the horse sprue. I'm just very quickly going to look again at some of the horse furniture that you get. There are saddlebags, blanket rolls, cloths, the odd water bottle, and some hip flasks. And you get duplicates of all of those. And again, check out my previous video where I did a sprue review of the Mounted Gunfighters to see how I get stuck into this and build those horses. There's also a follow-up video in which I magnetize the horse and rider. So check out that video as well if you haven't seen it already. And I do add some detail to the different horses using some green stuff just to show you what can be achieved if you're comfortable doing a little bit of sculpting and modeling. And I also stick some of the plastic accessories to the horses in that video, so please check that out. I keep saying this and keep forgetting to do it, but I will try and put a link to my previous videos in the description. But I do also have a Dead Man's Hand playlist of all the videos that I've done so far. So please check that out. So anyway, those are the Mounted Gunfighters, the male gunfighters, and these are members of my gang or posse, and we'll look at those again at the end of the video. So the two female gunfighters that I've got that I'm interested in recreating on horseback are these two here. So these are the two female members of my gang. And I'll be looking for these parts on the sprue, particularly the dress or skirt there with a frilly bottom. There's a skirt without any frills, the jacket, and obviously the two different heads. And that brings us to the female gunfighters sprue. So if we start with the heads, they are the same heads that you get on the female gunfighters 2 box. So we've got 5 heads there and 5 heads there, plus a couple of extra heads there. So you actually get 12 heads on this sprue, and there's a plait there as well. And of course, the torsos will be the same as well. So we've got 3 torsos there and two torsos there, and then we have the legs. I can already see that it's these two legs here that are the two that I need. There's a third set of legs there that look like they're wearing a skirt. I can't see that there's much difference between those two. And then we've actually got four sets of legs wearing skirts, and then a set of female legs in trousers there. These curious little things here are actually empty gun holsters. So where you've got pistols being held in weapon arms, then there's an empty holster that you can glue to the hips, and there is a gun in the holster. We've got various things. We've got shotguns, repeater rifles. There's a rifle there that's in a bag. A lot of this stuff is the same kind of thing that you get on the male gunfighters. The shotguns, and I've seen this before on other sprues, the barrels tend to be separate from the firing mechanism and the stock. So we're looking for, there we are, the hand there that's holding the butt of the gun. And what I like about that is the fact that if you're really careful with how you kind of glue them together, you can actually have the gun open as though the cartridges are about to be loaded in there. And that is something that I'll be looking to do perhaps in a future video when I do build a few more plastic gunfighters. That's a curious little object there, looks like a book. I don't think I've seen that on any of the other sprues, so I have a feeling that might be new. I could be wrong, but it's a lovely addition if it is new. There's also a frying pan there, which is great. Whether or not I use that for Dead Man's Hand or I end up converting some halflings, who knows, but that's nice. We've got a hat there. There's also a dead hen or chicken, which is great because on the regular Gunfighters II sprue, which is the female gunfighters on foot, you actually get a hen that's walking around. So there's some really nice touches. And here we've got a cactus as well, which is a very nice addition. You do get a variety of cacti on each of the different sprues. So there is the potential, as I said, to embellish your terrain with stuff like this, or even collect them up and group them together on a base. And then here we've got a bundle of rope or a lasso that is just being held, and then a lasso that's actually about to be thrown. And again, you get that with the male mounted gunfighters. I've just spotted their money bags or mail bags. It really is another lovely sprue there from Great Escape Games. Lots of stuff on there. Lots of lovely little bits of detail that add character to these models. And what I'm going to do now is identify the heads that I need to make this female gunfighter, and I think it may be that head in the hat there. And I've got this female gunfighter here, and I have actually seen that head there. So I'll be using that head. We've got the jacket there with coattails there, and one of these skirts here. So I've got everything I need to make that figure there. Coming back to the previous figure, we've got the pistol there and the arm holding the reins. So I am now going to snip out the bits and pieces that I need from this sprue to build those two female gunfighters and a couple of horses for them so that I can add them to my posse. I've just pulled out a female gunfighter sprue. Now this is one that I've already hacked some bits off, which I've been using for building figures obviously, but what this sprue has is the head that I need to make that gunfighter, that female gunfighter there. So I'll be using this head from the Gunfighters II sprue and adding it to the mounted body of the female gunfighter that I'm about to build. So we'll clip those there, and this is the dress. I'll just take these legs here. For the other rider, now she had the kind of bowler hat, rounded hat there, and the face the bandana or neckerchief or whatever over the face. So that's that head there that I want. And the female gunfighter in the frilly dress had the puffy sleeves holding a pistol. So that's that arm there. And then the puffy sleeve here holding the reins is that arm there. So I just need the torso for her. So that's a plain torso button down the front. And if I look for that on the sprue, it's this one in the middle, I think. I just need to check the collar. Yeah, it's got the high collar. So that's that one there, which I can just twist off. So that's everything there to make the first of my female posse members. Now, the rider with the bowler hat has full length plain sleeves and this jacket with the short tailcoat. So the jacket is here. Oops, something's just fallen. That's the hen fallen off the sprue. So the jacket is here. So I'm just going to cut that at the bottom and twist. So there's the jacket for that one. And now we're looking for some full length sleeve. I can't see a right hand that I'm happy with. Maybe what I might do actually, I don't know if you can see that because mine's wandering. Right, I am going to take that there. As the arm for her. Now I could use one of these arms, but they aren't in the position that I want. I'm actually looking for that hand there. Oh, no. There we are. Blind as a bat. There we are. Okay. Right, so I found it. So I'm going to use that arm off the female gunfighter sprue. So I've used the head from the female Gunfighters II sprue on this miniature, and I've used the arm from the female Gunfighters II sprue to make this miniature. So now I'm going to tidy them up, glue them together. I've decided I want to go with horse D and horse E for these. That's quite nice actually. Right, so we'll go with that. I said E, didn't I? And then let's find one that's perhaps a little more, let's do that one, that's quite different. So we can put that head on there, that's quite nice, quite elegant, that pose. So I've got the two horses that I need. So I want two bases for those horses to be glued on. And then I want my frilly dress rider, haven't given her a name yet. And my other female rider on that horse. And we'll start with her. Remove the detachment scar off the bottom there and there, because these little puddles are what will be glued to the base. And again, as I say in all my videos, I'm using a blunt scalpel blade for this. Don't need to buy a sprue cleaning tool. So that's the horse. Just check the edge of the base, the lip of the base there. Get rid of that detachment scar. The lip there as well. Nice even covering all the way round. Bring the two halves together gently. Make sure the saddle lines up nicely. Put some glue here for the head. Hopefully that will help keep the two halves of the body aligned. And there we have a very elegant strutting horse. And now put some glue on those puddle bases there. And try and line this up centrally so it's in the middle of the base. So there's that one there. Right, so the rider, again, clean up the detachment scars, including them on the inside of the stirrups there, because I need to be able to slide this figure on and off. So I don't want anything catching once it's magnetized. Just on the elbow there. Just double check that that's the frilly skirt with the top that I chose. Glue. There we go. Right, let's get this arm on to hold the reins. I'm not entirely sure how I want this other arm, probably down at the ready rather than up in the air. I'll get some glue on the neck there. Use the head from the Gunfighters II. There, really nice miniatures here from Great Escape Games. I'll just drop her into the saddle. And there we have a female mounted gunfighter, or as they will probably be marketed, it will be Mounted Gunfighters II. Now I'm just going to try and nudge that arm down to bring it closer to those reins there, because that's more realistic. There we are, while the glue's still wet. So that's quite nice there. She looks a bit like Dolores out of Westworld. So yeah, I might even paint her up as Dolores out of Westworld, the series, not the film. So there is one Mounted Gunfighters II female gunfighter, and that is the mounted version of her. I will magnetize my female riders, but I'll do that off camera because I've already done the video on magnetizing the male mounted gunfighters. So I say this every time, if I remember, I'll put the link down in the description. If not, please check out my Dead Man's Hand playlist for other videos about these wonderful miniatures. Right, and now I'm going to build the next one. Right, there we go. So that is the mounted version of her. And again, she needs a name. So really nice. Slot that into the saddle. That looks good. And there we are. So that is the last of my posse mounted, and I'm chuffed to bits with that. Ever so grateful to Great Escape Games for sending me these sample sprues early. Thanks guys, you are absolutely brilliant, and I am completely in love with your product range. So what I've got here are some bodies that I have just managed to dry fit together, no glue, and I've been having a little play around and an experiment, and I will feature this in future videos. There are locator pins on the inside of the horse's body that fit into grooves on the companion half. And these tabs or locator pins are in different places on different horses, or some of the different horses, just enough to interfere with how they fit together. So I've decided to be bold very quickly. I quite like this pose here, and the two halves look like they might fit, but these locator pins or tabs are in the way. So I'm going to be bold now and cut those tabs off, and that to me looks like it fits. So I'm getting a healthy amount of glue on there, and now the tabs have been removed on the side of what I think might be horse B, and I'm uniting that with the side of horse C to create a unique pose. Now, as I said, they slip around a bit now because there are no locator tabs to help you with the assembly of that. But look at that. And then we'll just get a head in there. Can't decide which. Maybe that one actually. No. And then I'm just gluing a head onto that there, and I have created a new pose. And again, glue on the base there. And there is a not straight from the box gunfighter's horse. So yeah, there we are. There is my mounted and dismounted Dead Man's Hand gang or posse, the Magnificent Sven. And I've called them that partly because of my own Scandinavian heritage, but also because there are Sven of them. So since filming the original sequence for this video, in which I built these two horses for my female Mounted Gunfighters II, I obviously had a mess around at converting and kit bashing together the different halves of the horses by trimming off those location tabs. So these two horses here are built straight out of the box with just a head swap to try and make them different from the rest of my posse. But of course I've now created some unique poses. So what I'm doing now is not only swapping the horses over before I get to the painting stage, but I decided to change what the horses were carrying as well. So Dolores, in her frilly dress, is now riding a horse that I have kit bashed from different halves that weren't intended to go together, and I've given her the rifle and the drinking water bottle on that horse. So that's my female Mounted Gunfighter II, Dolores style figure on her horse, and she will now be joining my posse. And then there's this horse here, which again is an amalgamation of parts that weren't intended to go together, and that will be the replacement horse for this lady with no name. And I've decided to give her the lasso and the satchel, and what I will be doing is just sculpting a blanket roll to go over the back of the horse there to hide that protrusion of the top of the saddlebag there. So that's the next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to do that off camera because I've already covered how to do that in my previous videos, where I did an unboxing and a building of the Mounted Gunfighters, and also a video on how to magnetize them. So please check those videos out for details on how to add sculpted accessories. And there we have my completed posse with mounted and dismounted versions of every member. So that is 7 miniatures on foot and 7 miniatures on horseback. And as I said before, the riders and horses have all been magnetised. You will see bits of green stuff on there where I've added horse furniture and done a little bit of converting. And obviously as well, slightly unexpectedly, I did manage to customize some of the horses to get even more variety with the poses. So I'm chuffed to bits with this, and really happy now that I've got my mounted female gunfighters in amongst the posse there. Thanks again to Great Escape Games for sending me a sample sprue of the horses and the Mounted Gunfighters II. I am now ready to start painting miniatures and painting terrain, and hopefully within the next week or two I'll have my first game of Dead Man's Hand Redux. Thanks again for watching this video. If you found it useful, please smash that like button. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. That's the best way you can support me, and leave a comment. Thanks again for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.